You're still watching the Afia Business Morning. Welcome to Global Business, where we take a look at business news stories around the continent of Africa and indeed the rest of the world. My name is Ubong Kings. Here are the headlines making the rounds. We're starting off in Africa, where it's reported that 1,000 Kenyans would leave the country weekly for foreign jobs. And outside Africa, generative AI to double Asia-Pacific data capacity by 2028. And still from the foreign scene, Russia is considering ban on diesel exports. We'll bring you details of the stories and more right after this break. Stay tuned. You are watching Global Business right here on the Afia Business Morning, and we begin from Africa, where it's reported that the Kenyan President William Ruto has revealed that 1,000 Kenyans would leave the country weekly to work in foreign countries as part of the government-backed labor export program. According to Ruto, his administration has expanded opportunities for Kenyans to work abroad by signing labor export bilateral agreements to combat youth unemployment. The president emphasized that there are 400,000 job opportunities for Kenyans to work abroad and that this initiative will see 250,000 Kenyans work abroad yearly. And in order to facilitate this, the government will cover the cost of flight tickets and expedite passport processing of approximately 1,000 Kenyans within a week, enabling them to pursue these opportunities. Now, let's look at the case in point right here. Now, this is in a huge contrast to fighting the jaguar syndrome in Nigeria and preventing, of course, Nigerians from traveling abroad. On this hand, Kenya is deliberately facilitating and supporting Kenyans to travel abroad in search of, better opportunities. Now, I'm interested to know that let me ask this question. Does this look like a function of a failed economy or a strong economy? A school of thought says it's neither here nor there. But a lot of indices are technically tilting towards more of a failing economy, because this is characterized by the recent outbursts of youth in Kenya and a need to save face by government and probably make jobs available for its teeming youth. And one sure way of doing that is, this program being set up by government. But if you ask me whether this is good, it's neither here nor there. And now, do you see this as something Nigerian government should pretty much do? Do you see this as something that will probably come up eventually? Seeing that there is no visible plan in place, as it were, or in sight, to actively and profitably engage young people in Nigeria, you may want to let me know all of this on our new YouTube channel. You can go there right now and be part of this conversation. And we'll leave that to other stories making the rounds. And me interested to know, still from Africa now, the French nuclear specialist Orano has reported a loss of 133 million euros for the first half of the year amid challenges in Niger, where the major issue is Niger's decision in June to strip the company of the uranium mine, which is the largest in the world, with estimated reserves of about 200,000 tons. However, this contrasts with the first quarter of 2023, when the company posted a net profit of 117 million euros. Additionally, Somnar, the subsidiary 63% owned by Orano, is struggling to export uranium from its uplift operations in northern Niger, which is due to an export ban imposed by the military government in Niger, which has been in power for over a year. Moreover, in response to these challenges, the company was forced to sell its uranium production, originally intended to finance the closure of the site. Now, trust me when I say this, it is really no surprise that the company, Orano, recorded a loss of 133 million euros for the first half of the year. Now, this is as highlighted in a feature report by Africa News. Let's take a look at this report, and when we come back, we'll talk a lot more. Please stay.
The French nuclear fuel specialist reported a loss of 133 million euros for the first half of the year, according to results presented on Friday. This contrasts with the first quarter of 2023, when the company posted a net profit of 170 million euros. This year, however, the company is facing difficulties. One major issue is Niger's decision in June to strip the company of the Umuraren mine, the largest in the world, with estimated reserves of 200,000 tons. Additionally, Somer, the subsidiary, 63% owned by Orano, is struggling to export uranium from its airlift operations in northern Niger. This is due to an export ban imposed by military government in Niamey, which has been in power for a year. In response to these challenges, the company was forced to sell its uranium production, originally intended to finance the closure of the site.
Just for sake of emphasis, really, Orano's actually recorded a loss of 133 million euros for the first half of the year, as highlighted by that report. And this is a function of the military junta stamping their feet down against Western invasion of the natural resources. And this in itself brings a whole lot of things to the fore. Can that be said about how well Nigeria is handling the Dangote, the international oil companies, and the NNPCL saga? Oh well, I leave you to be the judge of the matter. You're still watching Global Business right here on the Afia Business Morning on Afia TV. Can you join in on this conversation and other conversations you deem worthy of on our dedicated Afia Business YouTube channel? Can you tap in the search bar www.youtube.com/@Afia Business, and while you're there, do well to hit the like button and subscribe for notifications on all business related content coming to you from Afia TV. Coming up next will be more business news stories from the rest of the world and of course from the world of tech right here. Stay tuned. The Global Business will be right back. Yeah, welcome back to the Afia Business Morning right here on Afia TV. You're still watching Global Business. Now to the rest of our stories. Moving on to the world of tech now, it's reported that the data center capacity in Asia Pacific, APAC, the fastest growing market globally, is set to double in the next 5 years, driven by an increasing adoption of artificial intelligence and cloud computing, where the rapid growth of data centers alongside rising demand for electricity and water could expose the region to carbon transition risks. Meanwhile, data center capacity in APAC is expected to grow at a compound annual average rate of almost 20% through 2028 to about 24,800 megawatts, more than double the current capacity of 10,500 megawatts. Moreover, the region is expected to constitute about 38% of global capacity expansion over the next 5 years, with more than $564 billion of investment. Furthermore, I'm interested to know that the booming investment into developing generative AI software in APAC will drive the growth of the region's data center market. Now, for the sake of explanation, let's just explain some few things very quickly. Tech Target defines a data center capacity as the establishment of a strategy that ensures an IT organization's computing resources, power load, footprint, and cooling capacity will be able to meet the workload demands of its users and customers. Compliance and security also can be added to this particular list. But then, let's look at a certain interview with NG Kuopin, who happened to be the CEO of NCS at CNBC, where he took his time to talk about this development. Let's look at it.
Right. So if you take a company like NCS, for example, we are in the digital services space. We have decided to lead with AI. What do I mean by that? We want to be both AI inside and AI outside. AI inside will empower all of employees with AI capabilities. We will actually use AI to do our software development, which you can imagine will be a very big game changer for us. When we talk about AI outside, we will use AI to serve our customers. We will help them to deliver different capabilities, whether it's a banking customer or government agency. This is where AI will play. And we intend to groom about 3,000 AI practitioners and doing this together with our partners, AI software companies, to make this possible. Our NCS AI strategy to make that happen. I mentioned earlier that we will empower all 13,000 of our employees, and this is in Singapore and the region. So I think that's a very important first step for any companies to undertake. But if you look at the bigger AI ecosystem, let's take, for example, Asia Pacific. We believe Asia Pacific will be the center of a lot of AI action. In fact, by 2030, it is estimated that Asia Pacific will actually lead the AI market space, something like 220 billion of revenue by 2030, and that will surpass North America, right? So we'll see a lot of AI action here. And in Asia Pacific, besides what you would expect to be the US-led AI wave and the Chinese-led AI wave, we should also expect players from Japan, players from Korea. Let's not forget, Japan actually created a humanoid AI robots more than a decade ago, right? And I think Japan will continue to invest in that. And of course, in Singapore, companies here will also endeavor to do it.
Question you want to ask is, where is Nigeria? Where is Africa in this AI revolution? Asia is taking it to the next level. The Western community is taking it to the next level. Where is Africa in this AI drive? Well, with time, hopefully we'll know where we stand with reference to this revolution in the world of artificial intelligence. And in an attempt to end this bulletin, let's bring in this report that Russia, which is the world's top seaborne exporter of diesel with about 35 million metric tons annually, of which almost 3/4 is shipped via pipeline, and is also ahead of the United States, is considering a ban on exports of diesel due to rising domestic prices. Meanwhile, I'm interested to know that Russia suspended exports of diesel last autumn for around 2 weeks, but resumed pipeline overseas supplies. Furthermore, Russia is restricting exports of gasoline and is due to resume ban on gasoline exports from the 1st of August. Now, let's look at something very quickly. Let's look at a particular report I saw quite recently that's put together by Tech Revolution, as they add a whole lot of clarity to this subject matter. And we would continue this conversation. Please, Dan.
With about 35 million metric tons shipped annually. A lot of that goes out via pipelines, making it crucial for both domestic use and international sales. The rise in prices is mainly driven by high demand during the harvesting season and maintenance issues at oil refineries. It's a classic case of supply and demand, and the government is keeping a close eye on the situation. While no final decision has been made yet, the idea of restricting diesel exports is on the table. This isn't the first time Russia has played with export bans. They previously suspended diesel exports for a couple of weeks last autumn. It's clear that the government is willing to act quickly to manage domestic fuel prices. Now, while Russia is tightening its grip on gasoline and diesel exports, it's also ramping up its energy relationship with China. On the same day as Novak's announcement, Igor Sechin, the CEO of Rosneft, revealed that energy exports to China had increased by 4% year-on-year, totaling a whopping $46 billion in the first half of 2024. That's a huge jump, and it means Russia now accounts for nearly 20% of China's energy imports by value, up from just 13% in 2021. What's driving this growth? Well, China's economy is booming, and its demand for energy is skyrocketing. The International Energy Agency predicts that liquid hydrocarbon consumption in China will grow by 9% by 2030. This creates a perfect opportunity for Russia to step in and fill that demand, especially since Russian oil exports to China have surpassed those from Saudi Arabia. In fact, in the first half of 2024, Russian oil supplies to China increased by 5%, hitting over 55 million tons. This shift not only strengthens Russia's position as a primary oil supplier, but also reflects a strategic pivot in energy trade relations following Western sanctions imposed on Russia due to its actions in Ukraine.
Now you get to see that report. Now there's a lot of dimensions to that particular story, and there's this this avenue Russia would pretty much take, like you already saw in that report. China is one place that would pretty much be in need of its energy, so to speak, its produced energy. And now this brings us back home here to Nigeria. How well have we handled our energy issues? How well have we been able to take care of it? I mean, right now we're still having the issue of Dangote, IOC, and of course NNPCL and the federal government in the mix with reference to non-supply of crude oil, etc. Comments by the presidency that they should make crude oil available, but at the end of the day, crude oil is not available for the Dangote refinery, and we all still go in circles. Now, how well have we been able to work our industry, our petroleum industry, to a point where it now becomes an authority to be reckoned with? Because chances are, as it stands at the moment, a lot of countries are actually running away from our crude because it's expensive to buy in the first instance. Why? Because our prices are up. We'd rather go for other countries with less, priced crude. But then again, we'll follow up on all of these stories and all the dimensions of these stories, as well as others, as they get to unfold. Well, this will be the size of the package. You may want to get to our new After Your Business, so to speak, YouTube channel. You want to go to and type in the search bar www.youtube.com/@AfterYourBusiness. And while you're there, do well to hit the like button and subscribe for notifications on all business-related content coming to you from Afia TV. You're still watching the Afia Business Morning right here on Afia TV. Coming up next will be a conversation on the Onitsha River Port. The Afia Business Morning will be right back. My name is Ubong Kings. Stay tuned.